The stars stretched endlessly across the black void, a silent ocean of light and mystery. The USS Horizon, a powerful deep space exploration ship, drifted through this endless darkness on its long mission to chart unknown sectors of the galaxy. Its engines hummed softly, breaking the silence of space. Inside the command deck, Captain Elena Hayes stood with her arms folded, her sharp eyes fixed on the holographic star map. She had led dozens of missions beyond human-controlled space, but this region, Sector 9X, was different. No official records, no navigation warnings, just silence. Then the silence broke. "Captain," said Lieutenant Mark Sloan, the communications officer, "I'm picking up something, a transmission, very faint." Elena raised an eyebrow. "From where?" Mark shook his head, still listening to the static in his headset. "Unknown origin, uncharted coordinates, but it's close." A strange pulse of sound echoed through the speakers. It wasn't random static. It wasn't natural. It was intentional. "Can you isolate it?" Elena asked. Mark's fingers danced across the console. "Trying." It's repeating in intervals. Same tone, same pattern. He looked up, confused. "It's not human." The room fell silent. The bridge crew exchanged uneasy glances. They had all trained for first contact protocols, but Sector 9X wasn't supposed to have anything living in it. Athena, Horizon's advanced AI, spoke in her calm, synthetic voice. "Analysis complete. The signal contains structured data. Probability of artificial origin, 97.4%. Elena leaned forward. "Put it on speaker." A deep, rhythmic pattern filled the bridge. 3 long tones, followed by 3 quick pulses, then silence. And then it repeated, over and over. "It's almost like a beacon," Mark whispered. The decision, Elena stared at the star map, tracing the source of the signal. It came from a nearby star system, one with no records and no warnings. Every instinct told her to log the signal and move on, but deep inside, another instinct whispered louder. Curiosity. "Set a course," Eleanor ordered. Mark blinked. "Captain, we don't know what's out there." "We'll never know," Eleanor said, her voice steady, "unless we go." The engines roared as Horizon turned, heading straight toward the signal's origin. The ship glided through the endless darkness, the crew silent as tension built in the air. 2 hours later they arrived. What they saw wasn't a planet. It wasn't an asteroid field. It wasn't even a ship. It was a tear in space. The wormhole hanging in the void, massive and swirling, was a wormhole, a glowing storm of white and blue energy, twisting like a living thing. Lightning-like arcs danced around its edge, and small fragments of rock spiraled into its endless mouth. "By God," whispered Dr. Samir Patel, Horizon's chief science officer. "It's stable. This shouldn't exist here." Athena's voice cut in, sharper than usual. "Warning! Extreme gravitational anomalies detected. Recommend immediate retreat." Elena stared at the impossible vortex, her jaw tight. "Is the signal coming from inside?" "Yes," Mark confirmed, checking his console. "It's stronger here. Whatever is sending it is on the other side." The bridge went silent. Nobody wanted to suggest it. Everyone knew what Elena was thinking. Going in was reckless, dangerous, possibly suicidal, but humanity hadn't reached the stars by playing it safe. Elena turned to her crew. "This is why we're out here, to explore the unknown." She locked eyes with her helmsman. "Take us in." Into the unknown. The ship trembled as the engines flared to life. The wormhole grew larger on the viewscreen until it filled the entire horizon. Waves of blue energy rolled over the hull, making the lights flicker. "Shields at full power," shouted Lieutenant Arya Chen, Horizon's tactical officer. "Hold on," Elena ordered. "This ride's going to get rough." The Horizon surged forward, swallowed whole by the spinning vortex. Gravity twisted violently, the stars blurred into streaks of light. The crew gripped their seats as alarms screamed across the deck. structural integrity holding. Arya yelled over the noise. For 30 agonizing seconds, everything was chaos, light, sound, and distortion, until suddenly it stopped. The other side. The horizon emerged into stillness. The wormhole closed behind them with a silent flash, and then they saw it. Before them stretched an enormous star system, but it was unlike anything humanity had ever recorded. Dozens of massive orbital stations hung in space like dark steel giants. Hundreds of ships, alien ships, drifted in perfect formation, their designs sleek and intimidating. Mark's voice cracked as he whispered, "Captain, we're not alone." Athena's sensors lit up with activity. Warning, multiple vessels locking onto our position. Estimated fleet size, 124 warships. Unknown technology, unknown armaments. "Open hailing frequencies," Elena ordered calmly, hiding the storm brewing inside her. A deep, alien voice suddenly cut through the speakers before Mark could even respond. "Attention unidentified. Vessel, you have trespassed into Imperial space. Power down your engines and prepare to be boarded. Resistance will result in your immediate destruction." The words were cold, authoritative, final, a choice of survival. The crew froze. Dozens of massive warships now surrounded Horizon, their energy signatures glowing like predators ready to strike. "What do we do, Captain?" Arya whispered. Elena's heartbeat thundered in her ears, but her voice was steady. "We hold position. Power up shields. Do not arm weapons yet." Mark looked at her in disbelief. "Captain, they'll destroy us." Elena stared at the fleet on the view screen, her jaw set with unshakable resolve. "Not today." But before anyone could react, another warning blared from Athena. "Captain, incoming hyperspace signatures detected. A second fleet is approaching fast. Hostile intent probability, 99.1%. Elena's breath caught. "Another fleet? From where?" Athena's lights dimmed as the sensors updated. "Unknown origin," the AI replied. "But Captain, they're not part of the Empire." The bridge fell silent as the tension grew unbearable. Two massive alien fleets, one tiny human ship, and no way home. The bridge of the USS Horizon was silent, except for the low hum of the engines and the steady beeping of the sensors. The alien fleet surrounding them moved like predators circling their prey, each warship's glowing energy core, pulsing with quiet menace. The crew could feel the tension pressing against their chests. Captain Elena Hayes stood tall at the center of the command deck, her hands clasped tightly behind her back. She could feel her heartbeat, but her face remained calm. She had to be. If she showed fear now, the crew would lose faith. "And that could be fatal, Captain," Mark said softly, his voice shaky. "We're being hailed again. Should I patch it through?" Elena nodded once. "Put them on." The holographic display flickered to life, revealing the image of an alien commander. His skin was dark and smooth like obsidian, his golden eyes glowing with authority. He wore a sharp metallic chestplate, etched with symbols that pulsed faintly. "This is Commander Zirath Voon of the Galactic Empire," the voice rumbled, deep and commanding. "Human vessel, you have entered restricted Imperial space. This is your only warning. Power down your systems, deactivate weapons and prepare to be boarded. Resistance will mean your destruction." A cold wave washed over the bridge. Arya, Horizon's tactical officer, clenched her fists, whispering, "They want us to surrender." Elena's voice was steady, almost calm. "Open transmission." Mark nodded and tapped the controls. "Channel open." Elena stepped forward. Her gaze locked onto Zerath's piercing golden eyes. "This is Captain Elena Hayes of the United Terran Fleet. We are explorers, not invaders. We mean no harm." Zerath tilted his head slightly, his expression unreadable. "Explorers. You wander into the heart of an empire without permission. You have no understanding of where you are, human. Do you know what awaits trespassers here? Elena's jaw tightened, but her tone remained controlled. We did not choose this path. Your wormhole brought us here. We simply want safe passage out. The alien commander's golden eyes narrowed, and for a moment there was silence. Then a cold laugh rumbled through the speakers. You are small, Zerath said finally. Your ship is primitive, your species is insignificant. You stand in the shadow of forces you cannot comprehend. Before Elena could respond, Athena's synthetic voice broke in urgently. Captain, multiple hyperspace signatures detected. Another fleet has entered the system. Mark's fingers raced over the console. His face went pale. Captain, I don't think they're with the Empire. On the main display, another massive armada appeared, emerging from shimmering ripples of hyperspace. Their ships were darker, sharper, designed like predatory beasts forged from steel and fire. Their insignia glowed blood red. Unlike the Empire's silver and gold banners, Athena spoke again, her voice calm but cold. Identity confirmed. Vessels belong to the Krith Dominion. Historical records indicate a hostile power currently at war with the Galactic Empire. Arya turned sharply to Elena, panic rising in her voice. Captain, we're right in the middle of their battlefield. Elena took a slow breath, forcing her thoughts into focus. Options, Athena. Retreat is impossible, the AI replied. The wormhole is unstable from this side. Attempting to enter would result in complete structural collapse. Probability of survival, 0.3%. And if we do nothing? Elena asked quietly. High probability of destruction. Between both fleets, enemy firepower exceeds Horizon's defenses by 200%. The numbers were grim, but Elena's expression hardened. Then we make them see us as more than prey. The bridge went silent. Every crew member turned toward her, waiting for an explanation. We're not a threat, Elena said firmly, but we're not helpless either. If either side fires on us, we make sure they know they'll regret it. Mark, send a message to both fleets. Tell them we are neutral. We do not belong to their war. Mark hesitated but obeyed, transmitting the message. Within seconds the Krith fleet responded, not with words, but with action. One of their massive destroyers broke formation, locking its weapons directly on Horizon. Warning alarms erupted across the bridge. They're charging weapons, Arya shouted, her hands flying over the console. Captain, impact in 20 seconds. Elena's voice was sharp. Shields to maximum. Divert all auxiliary power. Athena's tone dropped lower. Energy levels critical. This ship cannot sustain multiple hits of this magnitude. The Krith destroyer's forward cannons glowed, an intense crimson. Horizon braced for annihilation, but at the last possible moment, the Empire opened fire on the Krith vessel. The void exploded into chaos. Dozens of ships from both sides unleashed a storm of plasma, energy beams, and missiles. The blackness of space lit up with destruction as an ancient war reignited before the Horizon's eyes. Captain! Mark yelled over the noise of alarms and comm chatter. We're caught between their firing lines. Elena slammed her hand on the console. Full evasive maneuvers. Get us out of the crossfire, now! The Horizon banked hard, dodging through waves of green and crimson energy fire. Explosions rippled around them, shock waves rattling the ship violently. One blast struck near the aft section, sending sparks flying across the bridge. We've lost stabilizers, Arya shouted, struggling to steady the controls. Elena gritted her teeth and forced her voice to stay steady. Athena, find us a way out. The AI paused for less than a second before replying. I have detected a gravitational anomaly on the far edge of the system. Probability suggests a hidden escape route. Elena didn't hesitate. Set a course and engage full power. The Horizon's engines roared, surging forward at maximum thrust. As they sped away, sensors showed both alien fleets locked in brutal combat, ignoring the tiny human vessel. For now. But deep inside her, Elena knew the truth. They weren't safe. Not yet. Whoever controlled this region of space would not let them leave so easily. The USS Horizon pushed its engines to their limits, cutting through the chaos as the two alien fleets tore each other apart behind them. The bridge shook with every distant explosion, warning alarms screaming through the speakers. Sparks rained down from an overloaded console as smoke curled lazily near the ceiling, but Elena Hayes didn't flinch. "Report!" she demanded, her voice firm despite the chaos. Arya Chen struggled at the tactical controls, her knuckles white against the interface. Shields holding at 40%, but any direct hit from those plasma cannons and we're done. Mark Sloan wiped sweat from his forehead as he scanned the sensors. "Captain, I think one of their cruisers is following us." Elena's gaze snapped toward the display. A massive alien warship had broken away from the battle and was heading straight for Horizon, closing the distance fast. Athena, the ship's AI, spoke calmly despite the rising tension. Vessel identified. Grith Dominion Heavy-class Predator cruiser. Armament level extreme. Its weaponry can breach Horizon's shields in approximately 2 volleys. Arya cursed under her breath. "Why are they chasing us when they're already fighting the Empire?" Elena narrowed her eyes, thinking quickly. "Because they want something. Something we have. And I'm starting to think it's not just about us trespassing." Before anyone could respond, the Krith cruiser opened fire. A volley of searing crimson plasma bolts streaked through space, narrowly missing Horizon's hull. The shock waves from the blasts rattled the entire ship. Evasive maneuvers. Elena barked. The helmsman pulled the Horizon into a sharp roll, narrowly avoiding another barrage. But the Krith ship wasn't slowing down. It was herding them, forcing Horizon into a very specific path. "Athena," Elena said sharply, "tell me they're not leading us into another trap." There was a pause before the AI answered, her synthetic tone strangely measured. "Analysis suggests a 97% probability that the enemy is attempting to push Horizon toward a controlled gravitational anomaly at the system's edge." Mark frowned, confused. "A what?" Dr. Samir Patel, Horizon's science officer, looked up from his console, his voice grim. "A trap. They're forcing us into something. Maybe a minefield, maybe worse." Athena's lights flickered as she processed more data. "Correction, it is neither a minefield nor an ambush. Scans indicate the anomaly is artificial. Someone built it." The bridge fell silent. Elena's instincts screamed danger. "Then whoever built it wanted us here." Before she could give the next order, another plasma barrage slammed into Horizon's aft shields. The deck jolted violently, and several crew members were thrown from their stations. The lights flickered, and a siren wailed across the ship. "Shields down to 22%, Arya shouted, trying to stabilize the power grid. Elena gritted her teeth. "Fine. They want us near that anomaly? We'll use it against them. Plot a course." "Straight into it." Mark spun around in shock. "Captain, are you insane? That thing could tear the ship apart." Elena's voice was calm, almost icy. "Or it'll tear them apart first. Do it." The Horizon surged forward, racing toward the swirling distortion at the system's edge. The Krith cruiser stayed locked on them, accelerating at full speed. Its weapons glowed with deadly heat, preparing for another devastating strike. Then the anomaly came into view. It wasn't a wormhole this time. It was worse. Floating in the void was a massive metallic structure. A colossal ring spanning kilometers, slowly rotating around a pulsing vortex of white energy. Dozens of alien constructs orbited it like silent guardians. The structure glimmered, faintly, ancient and beautiful, but undeniably dangerous. Dr. Patel's voice trembled. That's Not Empire tech. That's older, much older. This predates their entire civilization. Athena spoke quietly, almost reverently. Confirmed. Origin unknown. Energy readings suggest this construct predates the founding of the Galactic Empire by at least 30,000 years. Elena's expression hardened. And it's active. Very much so, Athena replied. Warning, it's scanning us. On the main display, symbols in an unknown language flashed rapidly across the anomaly's energy field. Then, without warning, a beam of white light shot out from the ring and engulfed Horizon completely. "Captain!" Arya shouted. "They've locked onto us!" Alarm screamed as the ship shuddered violently, systems flickered, and Athena's voice cut in again. "Warning! Unauthorized connection detected. The structure is attempting to interface with Horizon systems." "Block it," Eleanor yelled. "I can't," Athena replied. "Its encryption levels exceed known parameters. It's rewriting me." The Krith cruiser behind them fired again, but the beams surrounding Horizon absorbed the plasma bolts before they could hit. The ancient structure had taken control. Mark whispered, barely audible, "It's protecting us." Elena stared at the glowing ring, unease twisting in her gut. "No, it's not protecting us. It's claiming us." Suddenly the beam snapped off, and the bridge fell silent except for the distant sounds of the battle far behind them. Athena spoke softly, almost human now. "Captain, I have access to new data. This structure is part of an ancient network, spanning the entire galaxy. Its builders are gone, but their machines are not." Elena turned to her crew, her voice low but steady. "Then we just became part of a war that started long before humans even existed." Before anyone could respond, Athena's lights pulsed red. "Captain," she said, her tone urgent, "the Krith and the Empire have stopped fighting each other. They've both detected the activation of this structure." Mark's eyes widened as he scanned the sensors. "Both fleets are regrouping, and they're heading straight for us." Elena took a deep breath, steadying herself. "Then it's official. Whatever this thing is, we've just painted a target on our backs." Far beyond the horizon, hundreds of alien warships accelerated in unison, converging on their position with one single purpose. And for the first time, Elena realized this wasn't about survival anymore. This was about power. The bridge of the USS Horizon was silent, except for the steady hum of the engines and the soft crackle of damaged systems. Outside, the ancient alien structure floated like a sleeping giant, its colossal metallic ring glowing faintly with mysterious energy. For a moment, there was an eerie calm. Then Athena's voice broke the silence. "Captain, both the Krith, Dominion and the Galactic Empire have begun redirecting their fleets. Estimated time to arrival, 9 minutes. Mark glanced at his console and swallowed hard. "Captain, they're coming straight for us. Both sides." Elena Hayes stood at the center of the deck, her eyes locked on the massive ring outside. Her mind raced, but her face stayed unreadable. She knew one thing for certain. If they didn't act now, Horizon would be crushed between two alien superpowers, both determined to claim the ancient technology. "Options," she said calmly. Arya Chen, still working the tactical systems, looked grim. "Our shields are at 36%, weapons operational, but they won't make a dent against their fleets. Even if we try to run, we won't outrun them." Athena's lights pulsed softly as she processed millions of scenarios. "There is a 92% probability. Both fleets intend to disable Horizon and retrieve its data. They will not negotiate. Retreat is not viable." Dr. Patel leaned forward, staring at the readings from the alien ring. "Captain, what if we use it? The structure." "Athena," she said slowly, "can you control it?" The AI's voice was quiet, almost thoughtful. "Control? No. Influence? Yes. The structure recognizes Horizon as an integrated system. I can request limited functions." "Request?" Arya frowned. "Like it's listening to us." Athena's lights dimmed briefly. Yes, and I believe it's waiting. Before Elena could respond, the first wave of Krith destroyers dropped out of hyperspace, their black, razor-edged ships glinting like obsidian daggers under the distant starlight. On the opposite side of the system, the Empire's silver and gold warships emerged, elegant yet terrifying in their precision. 2 fleets, hundreds of warships, 1 human vessel. Mark's voice trembled. "Captain, what do we do?" Elena's jaw tightened as she gave the order. "We stand." The bridge went silent. Even the distant hum of the engines seemed to fade. "We send them a message," she continued, her voice low but firm. "Humanity isn't prey. We don't kneel. If they want this ship, they'll have to fight for it." Arya gave a faint, almost disbelieving smile. "Finally, some fun." Mark stared at her like she'd gone mad, but his hands were already moving across the controls. "Broadcasting on all channels." Elena's voice cut through the silence of the stars as her message went out. "This is Captain Elena Hayes of the United Terran Fleet. We did not come here for war. But if anyone fires on this ship, we will respond." The reply came instantly, not in words, but in weapons fire. The Krith fired first, crimson lances of energy tearing through the void. Horizon shook violently as the first barrage slammed into its shields. The impact rattled the entire deck, throwing 2 crew members from their stations, shields down to 22%. Arya shouted, her voice sharp but steady. "Return fire," Elena ordered. Horizon's railguns roared to life, sending blazing projectiles across the battlefield. The shells struck the Krith destroyer head-on, punching through its forward armor and forcing it to pull back. But there was no time to celebrate. The Empire fired next, unleashing a storm of blue plasma beams that streaked dangerously close to Horizon's hull. "Athena," Elena snapped, "if you're going to ask that alien thing for help, now's the time!" The AI's voice came through calmly despite the chaos. "Initiating request protocol. Stand by." For a brief moment, the ancient structure outside flickered, glowing brighter than before. Strange glyphs danced across its metallic surface, as though the alien machine were waking from a long slumber. Then, suddenly, a massive energy pulse exploded from the ring, washing across the system like a tidal wave. Every ship, Krith, Empire, even Horizon, went dark. The lights on the bridge flickered and Horizon systems reset in total silence. Athena's voice returned seconds later, tinged with awe. Power restored. The structure disabled every other vessel in the system except us. Arya blinked at her console. "You're saying it protected us?" "Not us," Athena corrected. Softly, "it protected itself. We are just connected." Outside, the Krith and Empire fleets scrambled to reboot their systems, chaos spreading across their comms. But Horizon had a small window, a fragile moment of advantage. Elena seized it immediately. "Set course away from the fleets. Maximum burn. Get us out of their crossfire before they recover." The Horizon surged forward, engines roaring as it raced across the void. But it wasn't over. Mark's console lit up again, a single warning flashing bright red. "Captain, new contact." Elena's head snapped toward him. "Where?" Mark swallowed hard. "Above us." A shadow fell over Horizon as an enormous ship, larger than anything they had ever seen, emerged from a hidden rift above the alien structure. Its hull was black as night, covered in faint silver markings, and it radiated an aura of sheer power. Athena's voice dropped to a whisper. "Captain, this vessel doesn't match any known database. Its technology is far beyond Krith, Empire, or human, and it's active." Elena stared at the monstrous silhouette filling the stars. "Whoever built this ring," she said softly, "they're not all gone." And as the unknown ship powered up, the bridge was bathed in a cold blue glow. For the first time since entering Imperial space, the crew felt true fear. The bridge of the USS Horizon was silent as the massive shadow loomed above them. The colossal, alien vessel hung in space like a dark god, its black surface rippling faintly with silver patterns that shifted like living veins. There were no lights, no visible engines, no signs of weapons, yet its very presence radiated overwhelming power. Athena's voice came softly, almost hesitant, for the first time. "Captain, I cannot scan this ship. Its technology exceeds all known parameters. Estimated energy readings are off the charts." Mark's hands hovered over his console, his throat dry. "It's just watching us," he whispered. "Why isn't it firing?" Elena Hayes kept her gaze fixed on the screen, her expression unreadable but her thoughts racing. The Empire, the Krith Dominion. Two alien superpowers were converging on their position, desperate for the horizon and the alien structure. But now, something far older and far more dangerous had arrived. Dr. Patel's voice trembled. "Captain, look at the ring." Outside, the colossal metallic structure surrounding the swirling white vortex began to glow brighter. Strange symbols, the same ones Horizon had seen before, danced across its surface, pulsing in perfect rhythm with the massive alien ship above. Athena processed the data rapidly, her voice lower and sharper now. "Correlation confirmed. This vessel is directly linked to the structure. It may be its creator." Arya tightened her grip on the tactical controls, though she knew weapons would be useless. "So what do we do, Captain? If it decides we're a threat, we're finished." Elena's voice was calm, deliberate. "Then we make sure it doesn't see us as one." Before she could issue another order, the alien ship moved. Slowly, silently, it descended closer to the ancient ring, until its vast hull nearly brushed the swirling vortex at the center. Then, without warning, a blinding pulse of blue energy surged outward from the ship, engulfing Horizon completely. Bridge shook violently, systems flickered, Athena's lights pulsed erratically, and a cold, unfamiliar voice echoed through the ship's comm systems. It wasn't speaking any known language, but somehow they all understood it. "You are not of the Makers." Elena froze, exchanging quick glances with her crew. "Athena, translate," she ordered, though her voice was already unsteady. Athena's response came slowly, almost uncertain. "Captain, I am not translating. This voice is inside our systems. It's bypassing me entirely." The voice returned, calm but powerful, resonating through the hull itself. "Your kind was not summoned, yet you carry the mark. You are connected." Dr. Patel leaned closer to the console, staring at the shifting symbols on the ring. "Captain, when Athena merged with the structure, it must have tagged us somehow. Whatever this is, it knows." Eleanor straightened, steadying her voice. "This is Captain Eleanor Hayes of the United Terran Fleet. We entered this system by accident. We don't want conflict." For a long, terrible moment there was silence. Then the alien voice spoke again. "Conflict is inevitable. The key has awakened. The war begins again." Before anyone could ask what it meant, the blue energy surrounding Horizon faded abruptly, and the alien ship powered down, drifting silently back above the ring. Athena's systems stabilized, her voice returning to normal. "Captain, I've intercepted encrypted data from the structure. It contains star maps, battle records, and warnings, millions of years old." Mark leaned forward, his eyes wide. "Warnings about what?" Athena hesitated, her voice lowering. "A war, an ancient war that nearly destroyed the galaxy. The Makers, the ones who built this, fought an enemy called the Elythian Wraiths. It lasted tens of thousands of years. The Makers vanished, but their weapons remained." Elena's mind raced as the pieces began to connect. And this ring, it's one of those weapons? Correct, Athena confirmed. But Captain, the activation signal we triggered has now broadcasted across 13 sectors. Multiple civilizations are receiving it. Arya's face went pale. That means... Mark finished for her, his voice shaking. That means everyone out there knows we found it. Before they could react, the sensor alarms blared. Mark's console flashed with red warnings. Captain, both fleets, Krith and Empire, have regrouped. They've stopped fighting each other and are heading straight for us. Outside, hundreds of alien warships accelerated, spreading out. In a perfect hunting formation, Elena's jaw tightened as she stared at the display. Two powerful alien empires, one ancient superweapon, and Horizon, a single human ship caught in the middle. Dr. Patel whispered what everyone was thinking. They're going to kill us to take it. Elena turned sharply toward Athena. Can the structure defend itself again? Athena's lights dimmed. Uncertain. Last time it used an emergency disruption protocol, but it cannot be repeated indefinitely. It will choose its own defense, and it may not protect us a second time. On the main view screen, the first wave of Krith destroyers closed in, their weapons glowing with crimson heat. Behind them, Imperial frigates moved into flanking positions, preparing to strike. Horizon was outnumbered, outgunned, trapped, but Elena's expression didn't falter. Then we make a stand, she said quietly. If this war is starting again, humanity's not hiding from it. Mark turned to her, stunned. Captain, we can't fight both fleets. Elena's gaze stayed locked on the oncoming armada. No, but we can make them fear us. The alien superstructure pulsed with blinding light, and the enormous black ship hovering above it hummed with a deep, resonant energy that vibrated through the Horizon's hull. Every crew member on the bridge stared at the display, frozen by the sheer scale of what they were witnessing. Athena's voice came through softly, but there was tension buried beneath her usual calm. Captain, power readings from the alien vessel have surpassed any known limit. Whatever it's preparing will alter the entire battlefield. Mark's console erupted with red warnings. Both fleets are locking weapons on us, Captain. Krith destroyers are accelerating, and Imperial cruisers are moving into flanking formation. Uria cursed under her breath as she checked her targeting systems. We can't outrun them, and we sure as hell can't outgun them. Elena Hayes stood at the center of the command deck, her jaw tight, her mind racing. Athena, options. The AI hesitated for a fraction of a second before replying. I have integrated partially with the alien structure's systems. I believe I can unlock limited control over its energy grid. That may enhance Horizon's defenses and weapons. Temporarily. Arya's eyes widened. You mean we'd be using alien tech we don't understand in the middle of a battle? Elena didn't blink. We don't have a choice. Do it. The deck lights dimmed as Athena interfaced fully with the structure, her voice shifting into a deeper, more layered tone as alien code began rewriting her systems. Strange symbols danced across every console, glowing faintly with blue-white energy. Integration complete, Athena said after a moment. Horizon's shields are now reinforced with an adaptive energy field derived from the structures. A core. I've also reconfigured our main railguns into plasma projection cannons. Mark exhaled sharply. So, we're about to become a human test experiment? Arya grinned, locking onto the nearest Krith destroyer. Then, let's test it properly. The first Krith salvo came screaming across the void, a barrage of burning plasma bolts aimed directly at Horizon's hull. But this time, when the shots struck, the shields absorbed the energy and dispersed it harmlessly in a ripple of blue light. Shields holding at 98%, Arya shouted in disbelief. Return fire, Elena ordered. Horizon's newly enhanced cannons roared to life, firing concentrated beams of searing plasma energy. The first beam ripped straight through a Krith destroyer, cutting its armored hull in half before the ship exploded in a silent burst of fire and debris. Mark froze, stunned. "Captain, one shot! One shot just destroyed a warship." "Good," Elena said coldly. "Send the message." But Horizon's sudden display of power didn't scare the fleets. It enraged them. Dozens of Krith and Imperial ships shifted formation, closing in from all directions. Massive cruisers opened fire, filling the void with blinding flashes of red and blue energy. The ship rattled violently under the concentrated assault. Sparks rained from the ceiling, and one of the rear consoles exploded, sending smoke across. "The bridge! Shields down to 61%, Arya shouted over the alarms. Athena's voice deepened again, layered with an alien undertone. "Captain, Horizon systems are reaching critical thresholds. If we maintain this power output for more than 6 minutes, our reactor will destabilize." Elena clenched her jaw. "We don't need 6 minutes. We need 3. She turned sharply toward Mark. "Patch me into all frequencies. I want every ship in this system to hear me." Mark hesitated but obeyed. "Channel open, Captain." Elena stepped forward, her voice sharp and unyielding. "This is Captain Elena Hayes of the United Terran Fleet. You will not take this ship. You will not take this structure. The next vessel that fires on Horizon will be destroyed." For a brief moment, silence filled the comm channels. Then one by one, more than 30 ships locked weapons on Horizon. They had called her bluff. "Captain," Arya whispered, "they're not backing down." Elena's expression hardened. "Then we make them believe us." Athena's lights flared brightly as she linked fully with the alien structure, pulling energy directly from its core. Horizon's plasma cannons ignited with a blinding white-blue glow, brighter than any weapon the crew had ever seen. "Target the lead Imperial cruiser," Elena commanded. "Locked," Arya replied. "Fire." A massive lance of energy erupted from Horizon, ripping through space like a star collapsing. The Imperial cruiser's shields collapsed instantly, and the beam tore straight through its hull, vaporizing the ship in a single, silent flash. The remaining Imperial ships faltered, breaking formation, as confusion rippled through their comms. But the Krith didn't hesitate. 3 of their heavy warships charged forward at once. Athena reacted instantly, activating the alien structure's gravitational field. The void around Horizon shimmered, and suddenly the Krith destroyers slowed. To a crawl, their engines screaming as if they were trapped in invisible chains. Arya fired again. 2 more ships vanished in fire. For a moment, just a moment, Horizon stood undefeated. Then Athena's voice changed. Her usual calm tone fractured, layered with static and distortion. "Captain, a warning. The alien vessel above the ring is activating its primary systems. Its energy output exceeds the combined power of both fleets. I believe it's preparing to neutralize all hostile forces." Mark turned, panic rising in his voice. "You mean it's going to fire on us too?" Athena hesitated before answering. "Unknown, but the structure has reclassified Horizon from linked to target of interest." Elena's breath caught in her throat. "Meaning what?" Athena's lights dimmed ominously. "Meaning it may see us as a threat." Outside, the alien vessel's energy core blazed like a newborn sun. The Krith and Imperial fleets stopped firing. They knew what was coming, and for the first time, Captain Elena Hayes realized Horizon wasn't just caught between 2 empires anymore. They had awakened something far older, something that didn't care who ruled the galaxy. The alien vessel above the ancient ring glowed brighter than a star, its silver patterns shifting like living fire across its massive hull. The energy readings on Horizon's sensors spiked so high that even Athena struggled to calculate them. "Captain," Athena said softly, her voice trembling for the first time, "the alien vessel's energy buildup has reached critical mass." I believe it is preparing a system-wide purge. Mark's console erupted with alarms, red warnings flashing across the display. Captain, every ship out there, Empire, Krith, everyone, they've stopped moving. They know it's about to fire. Arya Chen's hands gripped the tactical console tightly. If that thing unleashes whatever it's charging, we're gone. All of us. Elena Hayes stood in the center of the bridge, her gaze locked on the enormous shadow dominating the stars above. She could feel the weight of the moment pressing on her chest. One wrong move, and Horizon would vanish into nothingness. Athena, she said calmly, forcing her voice to steady. Can you communicate with it? There was a long pause before the AI replied. Possibly. The alien structure is still partially linked to our systems, but I do not know if the vessel will respond. Its directives appear absolute. Try anyway, Elena ordered. Tell it we are not its enemy. Athena's lights dimmed and strange pulses of alien code danced across the consoles. A deep vibration rolled through Horizon's hull as if the very fabric of space was listening. Then the ship responded. A sound, low, resonant, and ancient, filled the comms. It wasn't speech, not exactly. It was a pulse of thought, a voice that bypassed translation entirely and spoke directly into their minds. The Makers are gone. The Wraiths remain. The beacon must not fall. Dr. Patel froze, his voice barely a whisper. The beacon, it's talking about the structure. That's what this is. It's a key, a weapon. Elena's heartbeat thundered in her ears. Tell it we don't want the beacon. Tell it we'll leave. Athena's lights flickered rapidly, transmitting her message. But the answer came like a cold blade. No escape. The signal is sent. They come. Mark frowned in confusion. Who's coming? Before anyone could answer, Horizon's scanners lit up with dozens of new contacts appearing at the system's edge. Massive dark shapes slid out of hyperspace, their forms sharp and jagged, built like predators forged from shadow and metal. Their energy signatures burned brighter than anything Athena had ever recorded. Arya's voice dropped to a whisper. Captain, those aren't Empire. They aren't Krith. That's something else. Athena confirmed it a moment later. Unknown. Configuration. Cross-referencing with historical records. Match probability, 87%. Captain, these ships resemble the Elythian Wraiths, the ancient enemy of the Makers. A cold silence fell over the bridge. For the first time since leaving Earth, Eleanor felt the true scale of the galaxy and humanity's place in it. Two massive alien empires were already closing in on them. An ancient alien superweapon was preparing to purge the system. And now, something older than both the empires and the Makers themselves had arrived. The first Wraith vessel moved, faster than anything Horizon's sensors could track. A spear of black energy erupted from its hull, striking one of the Imperial cruisers head-on. The ship didn't explode. It disintegrated, breaking apart into dust in a matter of seconds. Mark's voice cracked. Captain, nothing survives those weapons. The Empire and Krith fleets, once enemies, suddenly shifted formation, turning their combined firepower on the newcomers. A storm of plasma beams, missiles, and energy lances filled the void. But the Wraith ships moved like phantoms, dodging with impossible speed and precision.